One Sunday in the pulpit, he said, "If I hear one more person confess to adultery, I'll quit." Well, everyone liked him, so they came up with a code word. Someone who had committed adultery would say they had fallen. This seemed to satisfy the old priest, and things went well until the priest died at a ripe old age. About a week after the new priest arrived, he visited the mayor of the town and seemed very concerned. The priest said, "You have to do something about the sidewalks in town. When people come into the confessional, they keep talking about having fallen." The mayor started to laugh, realizing that no one had told the new priest about the code word. Before the mayor could explain, the priest shook an accusing finger at the mayor and said, "I don't know what you're laughing about. Your wife fell 3 times this week." One day, this girl, who is wearing a skirt, goes out to play with her friends. She goes to the park and meets a boy. They talk about climbing trees. The boy says to the girl, "Go on, climb that tree." The girls climbs up, and the boy just stands there and looks up to the girls. Pants. After a while, the girl goes home and tells her mum about what happened. Her mum says, "Oh, my stupid girl, he just stood there and watched your pants." The next day she went out again, with her skirt on, and met that boy again. He told her to climb again, and she did. When she got home, she tells her mum what happened again, and her mum says, "My stupid girl, he just stood there and watched your pants." The girl replied and said, "No, actually, I tricked him. This time, I did not wear any pants." A bird was sleeping very cozy in his nest at the top of a pine tree. Suddenly, he heard a lot of noise, and the whole tree started to shake. He looked down and saw there was a very fat and clumsy elephant climbing the tree. The bird said, "Hey, what are you doing? Why are you making so much racket?" The elephant said, "I just want to climb up there and eat some pears." The bird said, "There are no pears here, you stupid elephant. This is a pine tree." The elephant said, "I know, I brought my own pears." A girl walks into a supermarket. She picks up a banana, a can of soup, and a loaf of bread. She then walks up to the cash register to pay. The cashier looks at her and the items she has and says, "I can tell you're single." She smiles and responds, "How do you know that?" He says, "Because you're ugly." 4. A dentist goes out and buys the best car on the market, a brand new Bugatti Chiron. It is also the most expensive car in the world, and it costs him 1.5 million. He takes it out for a spin and stops at a red light. An old man on a moped, looking about 90 years old, pulls up next to him. The old man looks over at the sleek, shiny car and asks, "What kind of car you got there, sonny?" The dentist replies, "A Bugatti Chiron. It cost $1.5 million. "That's a lot of money," says the old man. "Why does it cost so much?" "Because this car can do up to 250 miles an hour, states the dentist proudly. The moped driver asks, "Mind if I take a look inside?" "No problem," replies the dentist. So the old man pokes his head in the window and looks around. Then, sitting back on his moped, the old man says, "That's a pretty nice car, all right, but I'll stick with my moped." Just then, the light changes, so the dentist decides to show the old man just what his car can do. He floors it, and within 30 seconds, the speedometer reads 150 miles. Suddenly, he notices a dot in his rear-view mirror. What it could be. And suddenly, whoo! Something whips by him, going much faster. What on earth could be going faster than my Bugatti? The dentist asks himself. He floors the accelerator and takes the Bugatti up to 125 neighbours. Then, up ahead of him, he sees that it's the old man on the moped. Amazed that the moped could pass his Bugatti, he gives it more gas and passes the moped at 210. Whoosh! He's feeling pretty good until he looks in his mirror and sees the old man gaining on him again. Astounded by the speed of his old guy, he floors the gas pedal and takes the Bugatti all the way up to 250 mph. Not 10 seconds later, he sees the moped bearing down on him again. The Bugatti is flat out, and there's nothing he can do. Suddenly, the moped plows into the back of his Bugatti, demolishing the rear end. The dentist stops and jumps out, and, unbelievably, the old man is still alive. He runs up to the mangled old man and says, "Oh my gosh, is there anything I can do for you?" The old man whispers, "Unhook my suspenders from your side mirror." A brother hits his sister in the eye with a pool noodle. It was an accident, but the girl gets a really nasty black eye. So the next day, the girl gets to tell to all her friends about it and blames the brother. The brother doesn't like the unwarranted attention. He goes to his father and tells him he doesn't like his sister telling everyone he hit her. The father finds it reasonable and tells the sister not to tell people about it, as it is embarrassing the brother. The next day she goes to school and the teacher notices the black eye. The teacher goes up to girl and asks if she is all right. The girl responds that she is fine. The teacher then asks how she got such a nasty black eye. The sister responds, "My father told me not to say." Two guys always order the noodle soup at Kyoto Soup Restaurant. Every time they order the soup, the same person always serves them. "Hey, Ching Chong, hurry up, will you?" the first man always says. "Hey, Ching Chong, open your eyes, will you?" the second man always said. One day before entering the restaurant, the two men have a chat. The first man says, "You know, we should be more nice to him. His soup is so delicious." The second man agreed. When they enter, they tell him, "Hey, we just wanted to apologize for treating you so horrible and that we are deeply sorry." Ching Chong says, "You no more mean to me. I no more pee in soup." A woman sends her husband to the market to sell a goat. After selling it, he stopped by the blacksmith and bought a vice and a basket. He put the vice in the basket and headed home. On his way back, he saw a merchant selling livestock. Having leftover money, he decided to buy a duck as well. The merchant tells him, "Listen, mister, I only have these 2 chickens left for the day as well. I'm giving them to you for free so we can both go home. Okay?" Obviously a great deal. Our mister takes them and heads towards the village. On his way back, he sees a nun. She asks him, "Kind mister, I am trying to get to the local monastery, but I do not know the way. Can you please help me?" Always eager to help, our mister explains that the monastery is very close, just over a ridge, and offers the nun to walk with her there. Blushing a bit, she says, "I am not very sure about this. I am afraid that on the way there you might decide to take advantage of me." Laughing, the guy says, "How do you see this happening? Don't you see how overburdened I am? I am carrying a vice, a duck, and 2 chickens. There is no way I can keep these and do that." "Oh, but there is a way. You can always put the duck on the ground, cover it with the basket, and put the vice on top to make sure it doesn't run away." "Yes, but what about the 2 chickens?" says the guy, laughing again. "Oh, don't worry about the chickens. I can hold them for you." George goes inside a market to buy some food. He got to the vegetable section and said to the lady who was selling the veg, "George." "Hello, miss." Lady, "Hello, sir. How can I help you?" George, "Can I please have 5 kilograms of potatoes, but can you wrap them individually in a piece of paper?" Lady, "Sure." So, she wrapped each potato in a piece of paper, put them in a bag, and gave them to George. George, "Can I please have 7 kilograms of onions? But again, can you wrap them individually in paper?" Lady, yeah, why not?" So, she took each onion, wrapped it in paper, put the onions in the bag, and gave them to George. George, "Can I please have 4 kilograms of carrots?" Lady, "And I assume that you want each carrot wrapped in paper, right?" George, "If is still possible, yes please." So, she took each carrot, wrapped it in paper, put the carrots in the bag, and gave them to George. Lady, "Is there anything else, sir?" George, "Yes, what are those black things on your right?" Lady, "Oh, sir, those are poppy seeds, but they are not for sale." 2 pilots are dead, and brave passengers break down the door to take control of the plane. They get on to air traffic control, who guide them. "Okay, stay calm. Now do you see those 3 switches located on main panel?" "Yes, yes." "Okay, make sure they're all switched to on." "Okay, okay." Passengers are sweating with panic. "You see the dial above the co-pilot's head?" "Yes, yes." "Make sure it is rotated 90 degrees clockwise." The passengers follow the order. "Okay, it's done." More instructions from ATC. "Now the blue button on the left-hand panel. Make sure that is engaged." "Okay, I think it's done," sweats the passenger. "Good. Now slide the red lever 50% northwards." The passengers are in a state of flux, but coping. After 5 or 6 minutes of intense conversation and instructions, air traffic control declare, "Okay, I think we're going to be okay. You're all clear to take off." Last year, a guy took his blonde girlfriend to the Super Bowl. They had great seats right behind their team's bench. After the game, he asked her how she liked it. "Oh, I really liked it," she replied, "especially the tight pants and all the big muscles, but I just couldn't understand why they were killing each other over 25 cents. Dumbfounded, her boyfriend asked, "What do you mean?" "Well, They flipped a coin. One team got it. Then for the rest of the game, all they kept screaming was, "Get the quarterback! Get the quarterback!" I'm like, hello! It's only 25 cents. A small church in a quaint town puts an ad in the newspaper for a bell ringer to work every Sunday morning. Weeks go by and no one applies for the position. The church administrator, growing desperate, considers hiring anyone who might show up at this point. Then, one day, a young man with no arms walks through the church doors. He confidently tells the administrator he is there for the job. The administrator, surprised and skeptical, takes a moment to process the situation. "Are you sure you can handle it?" he asks, eyeing the man's lack of arms. The young man nods confidently and says, "Just give me a chance." Reluctantly, the administrator takes him to the belfry to give him a test run. Once they reach the top, the man doesn't hesitate. He backs up, takes a deep breath, and throws himself forward, using his head to ring the bell with a mighty clang. The sound echoes through the town, and the administrator, shocked and impressed, hires him on the spot. Sunday morning comes, and the young man eagerly climbs the tower for his first official shift. Excited, maybe a little too much, he gives the bell an extra powerful hit with his head. But this time, he loses his balance, stumbles, and plummets from the belfry. He lands in a heap on the church steps, just as two parishioners, running late for service, pass by. The wife looks down at the man, his face bruised and battered, and asks her husband, "Who was that poor fellow?" The husband squints, glances up at the bell tower, then back at the man on the steps. "I'm not sure," he replies, but his face sure does ring a bell. A man sitting at a dinner after work shares with the waiter why he is looking so stressed. "I'm not sleeping well. I have nightmares about a monster under my bed, and I am too embarrassed to seek help." A patron nearby overhears this and introduces himself. "I overheard your story and I am a psychiatrist. Maybe I can help." The first thing is you recognize these are only dreams, and that is obvious, so I should be able to help you in a few sessions. Here's my card. Give me a call. A few weeks pass, and the same two are once again at the dinner after work. The psychiatrist says to the other guy, "Hi, how goes the nightmares? I never heard from you, so I hope you're doing okay." The other guy says, "Things are great. The waiter helped me." Psychiatrist, the waiter helped you? You needed a trained professional to help you. What possibly could a waiter do that a psychiatrist couldn't? The other guy says, "He told me to saw the legs off my bed." A police officer was on patrol at night and saw two men fighting in the middle of the street in front of a house. He flashed his police lights, hopped out the car, and pulled the two men apart. He cuffed them both and sat them apart from each other on the sidewalk. "Enough! Explain what's going on here." The policeman said to the first man. "Well," the first man sighed, "it all started a few nights ago when I thought my girlfriend was cheating on me. I came round to her place to surprise her and found her watching a movie with two suspiciously empty pizza boxes next to her. She said she was just hungry, but who the hell orders two large pizzas to themselves?" "A valid point," the policeman nodded. "Anyway," the first man continued, "I decided to stake out her house. So I'm waiting here, out in the street, watching to see if anyone goes into that pink house on the other side of the road. I have my mate at the pizza shop deliver me a pizza. While I wait, everything's quiet and I'm just about to start eating my pizza. Until I see that dickhead over there come creeping around the side of the house. "That man over there?" the policeman asked. "Yes." So naturally, I confronted him and he denied seeing my girl. Next thing you know, we're in the middle of a brawl and then you arrive. The policeman thought for a moment, then undid the cuffs. "Here's the deal. Give me your pizza and I'll let you drive away with a warning." The first man nodded grumpily, hopped in his car and drove off. The policeman placed the pizza in his car and then walked over to the second man. "That guy says you sleeping with his girlfriend," the policeman stated. "I did no such thing," the second man roared. "So what were you doing?" the policeman asked. "Well," the second man mumbled, "darn, you'll catch me anyways when you search me." "All right, I was trying to rob the place." "That's hardly any better," the policeman replied. "The windows were locked up tight, so I decided to give up. Next thing I know, some guy is screaming at me, saying I'm having a thing with his girl. We ended up in a fight. Then you turn up." "Empty your pockets," the policeman said. The second man pulled out lock-picking tools, a skeleton key and a pair of diamond earrings from the last house he had robbed. "I'll take those," the policeman said, "but because I'm in a good mood, I'll let you go." The second man couldn't believe his luck. He skipped away down the street. Suddenly, the lights at the front of the house turned on. A woman came marching out. "What the is going on out here?" she asked the police officer. The policeman turned around. "Nothing, babe. Just got you a pizza and some new jewelry." A honeymooning couple had purchased a talking parrot and taken it to their room, where, much to the groom's annoyance, the bird kept up a running commentary on their lovemaking. Finally, the groom threw a large towel over the cage and threatened to give the parrot to the zoo if he didn't quit it. The next morning, packing to return home, the couple couldn't close a large suitcase. The groom said, "Darling, you get on top and I'll try." That didn't work. Figuring they needed more weight on the lid, she said, "Sweetheart, you get on top and I'll try." Still no success. So he said, "Look, let's both get on top." At that point, the parrot pulled away the towel with his beak and said, "Zoo or no zoo, I just gotta see this." Back in the 16th century, in a tiny village near Nuremberg, lived a family with 18 children. In order to keep food on the table for his brood, Albrecht Durer, the elder, the father and head of the household, was a goldsmith by profession and worked almost 18 hours a day at his trade and any other paying chore he could find in the neighborhood. Despite the family strain, two of Durer's male children, Albrecht the younger and Albert, had a dream. They both wanted to pursue their talent for art, but they knew that their father would never be financially able to send either of them to Nuremberg to study at the academy there. After many long discussions at night in their crowded bed, the two boys finally worked out a pact. They would toss a coin. The loser would go to work in the nearby mines and, with his earnings, support his brother while he attended the academy. Then, in 4 years, When that brother who won the toss completed his studies, he would support the other brother at the academy, either with sales of his artwork, or, if necessary, also by laboring in the mines. They tossed a coin on a Sunday morning after church. Albrecht the Younger won the toss and went off to Nuremberg. Albert went down into the dangerous mines and, for the next 4 years, financed his brother, whose work at the academy was almost an immediate sensation. Albrecht's etchings, his woodcuts, and his oils were far better than those of most of his professors, and by the time he graduated, he was beginning to earn considerable fees for his commissioned works. When the young artist returned to his village, the Durer family held a festive dinner on their lawn to celebrate Albrecht's triumphant homecoming. After a long and memorable meal, punctuated with music and laughter, Albrecht rose from his honoured position at the head of the table to drink a toast to his beloved brother for the years of sacrifice that had enabled Albrecht to fulfill his ambition. His closing words were, "And now, Albert, blessed brother of mine, now it is your turn. Now you can go to Nuremberg to pursue your dream, and I will take care of you." All heads turned in eager expectation to the far end of the table where Albert sat, tears streaming down his pale face, shaking his lowered head from side to side while he sobbed and repeated over and over, "No!" Finally, Albert rose and wiped the tears from his cheeks. He glanced down the long table at the faces he loved, and then, holding his hands close to his right cheek, he said softly, "No, brother, I cannot go to Nuremberg. It is too late for me. Look what 4 years in the mines have done to my hands. The bones in every finger have been smashed at least once, and lately I have been suffering from arthritis so badly in my right hand that I cannot even hold a glass to return your toast, much less make delicate lines on parchment or canvas with a pen or a brush. No, brother, for me it is too late." More than 450 years have passed. By now, Albrecht Durer's hundreds of masterful portraits, pen and silver point sketches, watercolours, charcoals, woodcuts and copper engravings hang in every great museum in the world, but the odds are great that you, like most people, are familiar with Albrecht Durer's most famous work, Hands. Some believe that Albrecht Durer painstakingly drew his brother's abused hands with palms together and thin fingers stretched skyward in honour of his brother Albert. He called his powerful drawing simply Hands, but the entire world almost immediately opened their hearts to his great masterpiece and renamed his tribute of love Hands. A burglar breaks into a home and holds the husband and wife hostage. At gunpoint, he forces the two to sit on chairs and ties them to the chairs. The burglar slowly and methodically begins robbing the house. The burglar has taken everything of value and is ready to leave while the homeowners are still bound to their chairs. Suddenly, the man yells at the burglar, "Please untie her. Please let her go." "No, I'm not untying either of you so that the authorities get notified as late as possible," says the criminal. "Don't worry. Your neighbours will soon wonder why your lights are still on throughout the night and check in with you." Yet the man again pleads, "Please just untie her. I'll do anything." "Look, I need to get away with this crime. I'm sorry, I can't leave anything up to chance," says the burglar, feeling a little ashamed of himself. "I'm begging you, man, just let her go. She won't call the cops, I promise." The man is now crying. The burglar, still unwilling to budge, does find it quite touching how much his hostage cared about his wife. "Wow," he says, "you must really